All right, we are live.
We are live. All right.
All right.
How is everybody doing out there? I'm here with my good buddy Chase, and he's going to help me moderate this thing a little bit so we can make sure I answer questions. Okay, where is our first question here?
We've got John Doe here. Hello to all.
Hello, John.
He was here a couple minutes early. So
okay, thanks for waiting on us, John.
So when's the last time you did it live?
Oh my gosh,
it's been a while.
It's on my page. It's got to be a couple of years ago. You know, it's been a while since I did a live. And John Doe, are you alive? John Doe, the name is as close to Joe Smith as I possibly can get. Okay.
So we got 10 people in here now.
All right. All right.
It takes a little while. So we got Mr. Joaquin
Joseph,
J.C. Stro Cordova.
Mr. Cordova.
That's a long one.
All right.
Probably Dylan.
All right.
That's probably Dylan.
It's probably Dylan. Hey, Dylan. How you doing? All right. People just starting to come in now. Cool.
Yep. So let's see. Who's got the first question for Marc Mero?
Well, Chase and I have been working on videos today. We're really going to start working on this YouTube channel. So we want to let you guys know that this YouTube channel is going to, you're going to see a lot more content coming out because I really wanted to utilize this channel to talk to my friends, family, my fans out there. And because we're doing so many schools now, we really want to reach the students, everybody, help as many people as we possibly can.
Absolutely. All right. So first question there. All right. So now chat's jumping a little bit here. Right. So from John, who was your favorite guy to wrestle?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, I get asked this question a lot, and I actually got a few of them. Okay. My favorite guys to wrestle are probably the guys I wrestled the most. And at the top of that list is Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. I wrestled him. Many of you seen him for the U.S. title with WCW many times, the World Television title. And then, of course, in the WWE, King of the Ring, we had a killer match there. Another one is Triple H, because we were both in WCW. We were both in WWE together and wrestled many, many times. A lot of people don't know this, though. Triple H's first championship belt he ever won was from me, beating me when he beat me for the Intercontinental Championship. And the other one is DDP. DDP and I have wrestled many, many times. We did a lot of pay-per-views against each other. And one of my favorite matches, though, was against Brian Pillman, one of the great, rest in peace, Brian. He's one of the greats.
All right, now we're moving quick here. I got to scroll back up.
Great question, though.
That was a good one. Now, Stone Cold, you wrestled him. You said King of the Ring. That was when he cut his 316 promo, right?
It was
right before that.
It was when I accidentally kicked him in the mouth.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
Okay. Yes.
I wasn't going to throw you under the bus on that one.
He took quite a few stitches after that.
Right.
But, accidents happen, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, wrestling's not always fake, right?
Yeah. Well, only when I lose.
Only when you lose. All right, let's see. And from Tom here, an amazing speaker here to me. And my son saw you speak at Salmon River School.
Oh, Salmon River High School. Yes.
Pull these up too.
That was awesome, man. I love going. I'm thinking Salmon River. That's the one in New York. There's a couple of them, but I think he's talking about the one in New York. And yes, I love going up there. It's if I remember correctly, it's by the Indian Reservation, or it was on the Indian Reservation. I wasn't sure, but love going up there, man. I was born in New York, so
it's home for you.
Yeah.
You're one of my favorite people in the world. Thank you for everything. I have a question. Do you sell your nonprofit shirts?
We did. We've got such I'm on the road so much, and my staff, to have them, get everything ready to sell and send out and stuff. We don't do it as much as we used to. We are looking for maybe someone to partner with that can do that. We did have one a while ago called First Fighters.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And but they recently went out of business, so we're looking to partner with someone that maybe can do all that. Yeah, facilitate all that. It's a lot of work,
It is. It's tough, especially if you're on the go too. And then sizing is always an issue.
Yeah,
it's tough to travel
yeah.
with stuff like that. And we've got Dustin. Is that Kilvington? Hello, Mark. We talked a few times. I'm a friend of the family from Buffalo. How are you?
Yeah, okay. Yes. Hey, Dustin. Yeah, I was born in Buffalo, New York, and I lived in Buffalo till I was 13, and then we moved to the Syracuse area where I went to Liverpool High School and graduated from Liverpool High School. And a lot of people ask me what year I graduated, and so this is going to really throw people back. Okay, I graduated in 1978 and 1979. In other words, I enjoyed my senior year so much, I took it twice. Okay.
There you go. You're just more knowledgeable.
Yeah,
there you go. Find the positive in it. All right. Let's see. New comments. All right.
No, we got a few people here now. Right?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Why is this not letting me scroll now? That's weird.
There's one from, thank you for coming to South River and talking to us. Yes, there's another school. That's a school we did this year, not too long ago, South River High School. And another great, I tell you, it's so much fun to go to these schools and meet these students. And we all go through stuff in life, and hearing relevant issues that they go through and trying to help them. And in a sense, it helps me, it's like we all talk about things that we go through in life, and it's such a blessing to help others.
Well, it also keeps you in the loop on what's going on in the world too, because it's so we talked about this earlier. Things are so different for kids now than when we were younger. We have an age gap, obviously, but it's just constantly evolving. They're dealing with new struggles. It's a lot. Let's see. I saw one. I want to actually go up. There we go. There we go. That's a good one. How'd you come up with the Johnny Be Bad? And who helped you develop the character?
That's we were actually talking about that today too.
Just talking about that.
Yes, it was Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, saw me, and he said to me, true story. He comes up and he says, "Did anyone ever tell you look like Little Richard?" And I thought he was talking about a wrestler, Little Richard. And I said, "No, I never heard of Little Richard." He goes, "You don't know Little Richard? I go, "Oh, the singer Little Richard." And sure enough, he saw something in me or about me or the way I looked or whatever that I never saw or anyone else ever saw until I became the Johnny B. Bad character. And it was probably the most fun I ever had in the years I wrestled was the character Johnny B. Bad. Not that I didn't have a great time being Wildman Marc Mero or Marvelous Marc Mero, but that Johnny B. Bad character was so different than who I really am. It was just fun to play this outrageous character.
It's different than any other characters out there too. It's very, very original. All right. We've got, what wrestler or wrestlers inspired you to join wrestling?
Wow, that's a great question. When I was a kid, and man, it's like they're reading our minds here.
I know. We just talked about all this.
Talked about today. When I was a kid, my dad would take us to the Buffalo War Memorial Auditorium, and it's where the Buffalo Sabres used to play. And they had a match there with the headline was Bobo Brazil versus the Original Sheik, and I was terrified at how violent this match was. I was a little kid, like 10 years old, and I'll never forget it. But the ones we used to watch on TV when I was a kid, Pedro Morales, there was a wrestler named Chief White Owl who'd go around and do this tomahawk chop with an Indian dance. It was so cool. My brother and I used to do that in the house. And there was just so many that inspired me when I was a kid. And then, it's so cool later on in life to be able to meet these wrestlers. When I was a wrestler, the old timers would come into the dressing room to say hello to the young guys. And I'll never forget meeting the Original Sheik. And I had to tell him the story about when I saw him wrestle Bobo Brazil back when I was a kid. And he was so amused by that. These are great questions, guys. Keep them coming.
Thank you for answering my question. My grandma used to work at a restaurant, and she served the older wrestlers.
Now, when you say older wrestlers, you talk about me? Almost everybody?
Are you coming to Auburn, New York? I see that up here.
Oh, Auburn, boy, we did so many schools in Auburn, New York, including the high school. And, but I haven't been there in a while. I love coming out to that area and speak at schools. I mean, obviously I graduated from Liverpool High School, and we used to play Auburn in hockey, and they're a great school. And I really hope to come back there soon.
Here we have one. Funniest wrestling story you have. Now, I didn't ask you this earlier, so this is a different one.
The funniest wrestling story I have. Oh boy, we had a lot of laughs in the wrestling. Eric Watts. You know Eric Watts, right?
I do.
Okay, Eric Watts and I got hooked on gambling, playing crazy eights on the road all the time. We played crazy eights like crazy. We'd gamble though, okay? We'd play for money, and that son of a gun would win money off of me all the time. Well, anyways, we were in a locker room playing crazy eights, and all of a sudden, they go, "Hey, Mark, you're up in 2 matches or something." And we're just playing crazy eights and gambling the whole time, okay? All of a sudden, I hear my music playing, and Eric goes, hey, Johnny. He calls me Johnny from Johnny the Bad. And they go, "Johnny, isn't that your music, your entrance music?" Oh, yeah, but hold on, let's keep playing. We kept playing, and all of a sudden the song ends, and they started over again. And he goes, "Brother, you got to go out." And all of a sudden the agents come back into the locker room, and I'm still playing, trying to get to the ring playing. I couldn't wait for my match to end because I had to go back there and try to win my money back from Eric Watts. You son of a gun, Eric.
So funny story to add to that. I met you the day after I met Eric, and he said to tell you that you still owe him some money.
Are you kidding? He's living on some retirements because of me, okay?
What are the big differences from the business when you started compared to you?
Probably when the business, when I started compared to the way it is now, probably.
That's where I'm thinking, yeah.
Obviously it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's just amazing how big wrestling is now. And, one of the things I talked about, I got a new book coming out on March 3rd, and I'll talk about that as we get closer to the book. But one of the things, I was the first wrestler to ever get a guaranteed contract with WWF. I broke the glass ceiling. I was the first one. And when you look at what they're making now compared to what we were making back then, it's just night and day. And God bless them, man. I think it's wonderful. I mean, it's happening in all sports. You're seeing these guys getting these, man, $500 million contracts now, And, but you know what? More power to them, man. It's these guys really put their life on the line, and any of the wrestlers, and especially the guys that wrestle with me going forward in life, we all have issues. I mean, every one of us, whether it's knee replacements, back problems, I've had 14 surgeries, and everyone I know has had multiple surgeries from the ring.
Absolutely. Roman Reigns makes in a year actually double what Vince paid for WCW. Wow. So that goes to show you just how much it's scaled, and that's only what, 24 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I saw this one here. Don't forget to subscribe and share the videos, please. Thank you. Please do that. And we're going to have a lot more videos coming very soon. I'm going to be working with you to bring a lot of your stories to life here on YouTube. I think we're really going to have some amazing stuff here. So, check out the channel, subscribe, share it. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff coming in the near future.
Yeah, I met Chase recently, and something I've always wanted to do is put more content out. And that's what he's a content creator, and he's really helped me with. I have so many stories and so much to share with everybody. And please start checking out my channel. Almost every day we're going to be putting stuff up or creating stuff, and we'll be doing. The reason he's from Connecticut, but he's here in town. We have tomorrow off, so we're going to spend the day tomorrow filming videos together.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Used to watch you growing up in WCW and WWE. Big fan from childhood. Are you in the Hall of Fame, or would you like to be immortalized in the Hall of Fame?
That's a great question. I was recently inducted into the Wrestling Online Hall of Fame, which was a great honor. My good friend Ben Veal inducted me into that. We'll be doing a video on that soon. And hopefully one day into the WWE Hall of Fame. You never know. Never say never. But I just thank God that it's not something that will define me in life. The thing I want to be remembered for is, gosh, not how big my house was, not how nice my car was, or how much money I made, but the difference I was able to make in someone else's life. And that's what I hope my legacy is.
I see this one from Anthony Crown. Hi, just stopping in to say hi and thank you.
Hello, Anthony, and you are very welcome. If I've ever done something to help you, man, it's awesome.
And go Bills next year.
Mike, he's a big Cincinnati Bengals fan, so he's kind of ribbing me on this one right now because he knows. And Cincinnati is playing Buffalo in Buffalo this next year, so we're going to go head to head, Mike. And I think Bills are going to have a really good team again next year, and so is Cincinnati. They're really confident. That quarterback's amazing.
And from probably Dylan here. Were you one of the top wrestlers back in the day? You went to my school 2 to 3 years ago. It was called Timothy Edwards Middle School. It's in Connecticut.
Yeah, yes. I do a lot of schools up north. Especially New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island. We do a lot of schools in Long Island also. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and that's what I do almost every day. I'm traveling somewhere, speaking to students, and hopefully making a difference in their lives.
We got John Roberts saying hi. We've got gaming.
Hello, John.
Gaming TV here. Which Christian wrestler do you have a good relationship with?
Christian wrestler. I mean, there's so many now, which is such a blessing to see that, guys, so many guys have turned their lives around. Nikita Koloff, Sting, man, the list goes on and on. There's so many guys that are now serving Christ, and it's a real blessing to see. A lot of my brothers, we all had stories. We've all gone through some hard times. We all fallen, but it's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up.
Right. What's tougher, cutting a promo in front of a wrestling crowd or speaking in front of students?
Well, because I've been speaking in front, this is my 18th year doing that. So, being in front of students a lot. But believe it or not, I still get nervous. I think it's a good thing when you get nervous because I never want to feel like I can just call it in and just go through the motions. I really want to dig down deep and share my stories. And that means relive many of the hard times I went through so students can see how authentic it is. But cutting a promo, I mean, Johnny B. Bad promos were fun. I mean, you just go, I'm so outrageous, it's contagious. I don't sit down, I get down. I love to rock and roll. I strut and stroll, and I'm here to drive you out of control. Why? Because I'm a bad man.
And I just saw a comment breeze by there that said, you can see how much fun you had as Johnny B. Bad. And I mean, there you go.
Yeah. That was just such a fun character. And I can't thank Dusty Rhodes. A lot of people don't realize this, that because Dusty Rhodes came up with that character, he would teach me how to walk and talk like Johnny B. Bad needed to. And we used to laugh so hard because we get to the building early and he'd say, now do it like this. And he'd say, I'm a bad man. And we'd have so much fun. But gosh, those are memories that I get to cherish, that I got to share with Dusty Rhodes.
Wow, that's incredible. Mark, I just wanted to say that from seeing your work in WWF to following your videos in recent years, you're part of the path which led me to find Jesus. You've helped change my life. Thank you, sir.
Oh, man. I tell you, that I get so many beautiful messages, but when you hear someone that came to know Jesus because of maybe something I said or did or an example or something, what a blessing that is. He changed my life, and he's really, I dedicate everything I do to serving him in some way, somehow, that to know every day I'm able to make a difference in someone else's life. So that's the blessing I have. And thank you for sharing that with me. It means a lot.
I grew up watching you, and I marked out when your video went viral in 2014. I still benefit from your videos, though I am. That's great.
Yeah. Well, thank you. the mother's love video, I'm assuming they're talking about.
Yeah.
And when that went viral, I was as surprised as anybody. A lot of people don't know this, that the ones who filmed that video was because of my good friend Diamond Dallas Page. I was doing schools here in Atlanta at the time. I was living in Florida, but I was doing schools here, and I'd often stay with Dallas at his house. And Dallas, because he has the DDPY yoga studio, they film a lot of stuff. And he said to me, "Hey, do you mind if they come and film your presentation today?" I said, "Sure." And his right-hand man, Steve Yu, came down and he filmed it. And a couple of days later, they said, "Hey, do you mind if we put this video up?" He goes, "You never know, maybe it'll go viral." And sure enough, wow. It's gone crazy, man. It's led to so many presentations around the world. And I can't thank DDP and Steve Yu enough for shooting that video, filming that video.
Excellent. Yeah, Steve does amazing work.
Yeah, he does. He's
very talented.
Brilliant, yeah.
How long have you been going to schools and speaking?
Like I said earlier, this is my 18th year speaking at schools. And before the pandemic, we averaged 230 a year. It's crazy. We do up to 5 presentations in a day. And it was been all over the world, been to done schools in Russia, done schools in Guatemala. It's just been such a blessing, man.
Wow. So that puts you on the road about as much as wrestling.
Exactly. You know,
so that kind of got you
it's funny,
conditioned for
when I left wrestling. I think I told you I had 3 years left on a guaranteed contract, and that was my last pay-per-view was in England. And I remember flying home thinking, I don't got to travel no more. Right. I'm going to retire. And next thing you know, I get this phone call that Melbourne High School wanted to come and speak to their football players. And it snowballed into then speaking to entire schools. And it's just been, I don't know, the greatest thing that's ever happened to me is the opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life. I often tell people, you want to be happy? Help someone else become happy. Oh, yeah. You want to be successful? Help someone else become successful. Given while you're living, so you're knowing where it's going. It sounds like Johnny D. Bad, though.
It does. It does. Hello from Australia.
Yeah. Nice. And we were supposed to tour Australia back in, I believe it was 2017, and the funding or something fell through. But we were all ready to go there, and it fell apart. But I hope to come back. I hope to go someday. I've never been to Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've heard good things. It's one of the few places I haven't been to that I still want to get to at some point. Yeah. Do you often watch your old matches? And from Gaming TV, he loves classic wrestling.
You know what? I don't see him too often. Like on social media, people put up old matches of so-and-so, and I'll like it and share it. But I don't often watch my old matches. But when I do, it's like, oh man, I saw the match with me and Stone Cold at King of the Ring we talked about, and Flying Brian. And I just think about, man, we really went from the opening bell, it was like nonstop, and we were amazing conditioning and wrestling with guys that can just go. That was a lot of fun.
Now let me ask a question here. I'm going to jump into the chat here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the big? We talked about the differences, but do you like classic wrestling or today's product more?
Oh, that's a great question. I think if we could somehow combine it. Because sometimes there's so many things that are happening that have no rhyme or reason.
Right.
Like guys doing all these backflips and
high spots.
So many high spots that no one's grabbing a hold and letting the crowd get behind, one of the wrestler that they like or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like absolutely. Sometimes you got to slow it down. And I remember when I was wrestling, I think it was Arn Anderson said, when you feel like you're going too slow it down even more. Wow. Because you got to take your time on stuff. Yeah. It taught me a lot. And because you got to listen to the crowd, but sometimes we just bing, 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 crisscross, double this, double that. It's like, whoa, you're trying to figure out what's going on. It's like a little too much sometimes, but these guys are getting so talented though. Some of the moves that are innovative moves that they do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, Mark. Hope you are well. Me and my dad talk about you when he visited me in Alabama this past weekend. Thanks for being so informative for me while growing up. Never give up.
Oh man, Ryan Bruzamato, what a great kid, man! I tell you, his dad is amazing, and man, it's always great to see you guys, and I hope to see you again soon.
With all the new talent now, is there any wrestlers that you would
like to hit the ropes, like to wrestle, but basically,
yeah.
You know, I love Seth Rollins. I love his style. I would
Great
love
wrestler.
to, yeah, man, I'd really like to work with him. You know, man, Braun Breaker. I spoke at his high school when he was a kid, and now seeing him. Wow. Same thing with Brian Pillman, his son. You know, Brian. I spoke at their school, and I have pictures of me and them back when they were kids, and now seeing them do these amazing things is. I would love to work with. Would have loved to work with someone like Braun Breaker. He's so quick, incredible. You know.
Oh, just watching him, and it's funny. Hit the ropes. Have you seen him just run the ropes?
Oh my God!
I mean, he moves the ring when he does it.
It's
incredible.
I mean, here's a kid that almost made, you know, close to making the NFL. You know?
He technically did. Yeah. Did make the NFL. Yeah. From Harley here. Also remember that when you become successful, don't look down on the lower person. We all started somewhere. It takes everyone. I see that there from the bottom to the top to make things work. That's what I tell others, and that's great.
You know, it's well the said. Thing is that to look down on people. You know, it's. And I often tell people that if someone tries to put you down, it's only because you're above them. Please don't put people down. You know, I tell you, words have power. Names hurt, and you know, there are old saying, "Sticks and stones will break our bones, and names will never hurt me." It's the biggest lie ever. You know, names can destroy people, and because I meet the parents who have lost a child to suicide because of what other kids have said and did to them.
Right, it's devastating. And from John Doe, what guys you saw that was misunderstood but really talented? So who's underrated, I guess is.
Oh my gosh. Al Snow was highly underrated. You know, he was a great worker, man. Bobby Eaton, one of the best workers I've ever been in the ring with. I mean, really, he was fantastic, underrated. As great as Arn Anderson, I still believe Arn Anderson was underrated. He was amazing, you know.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh, I loved working with that guy. He was funny too.
Yeah.
Man, he could bring a locker room to tears. He was so funny. Yeah.
Does blading forehead hurt? How deep does one need to cut? Did veterans show you how to do it?
I don't know. Look at my face. It's so pretty. No, you know, I've only had to do it a couple of times, and your adrenaline is flowing, man. You barely even feel anything, and you know, because you're sweating so much, and it just flows. But no, it doesn't really hurt too much.
Now in WCW, blading wasn't really a thing under Turner, right?
No, it was like you had to make sure there was permission to do it. Right. You can't just take it on yourself to do that. No.
And from John Roberts, he wrestles trying to open bags of chips. I've been bullied, but I picked up the pieces and help lifting others up.
Hey, man. Thank you, man. I'm glad to hear that, Harley.
And from Brush Gamer, we all start somewhere. I'm in martial arts. I'm a yellow-green belt. And in wrestling, are there belts?
There are. You know, it's... I mean, obviously, they're championship belts, not quite like mixed martial arts or in
different formats.
Yeah.
Concepts there. Yeah. With so many wrestlers doing podcasts now, if you had one, what would you call it? That's a great question.
Oh, yeah. Like that. What would I call it? It's a good day to be a bad man.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one. Hi, Mr. Mero. I was wondering what your thoughts are looking back on WWF Brawl for All. Do you regret taking part in the event because it injured some of the participants? Thank you.
It was not a good move. And, you know, it was luckily I never got hurt. I never got hurt or never really even got hit. I was just taken down because of my lack of wrestling, amateur wrestling. But it was a bad call because so many guys not only got hurt, ruin their careers. So it was not a good idea for, and because people are so used to seeing, matches that flow,
Right.
and these are just kind of wild guys swinging, so it was a little different. So I think it was very confusing for the fans too.
The visuals are very
bad
different.
idea.
Very different on that. Yeah. Any fun stories from the road?
Oh my gosh. Fun stories from the road. Bagwell and I have had a few. Some I probably can't really discuss now, but I
be careful these days.
Yes, but I do share a lot more in my book coming out. That will be out March 3rd, called Bad to Good. All right, but Bagwell, he was really funny. One of the stories that happened with Bagwell was that whenever we wrestled in Jacksonville, there was one plane that was leaving around 9 p.m. And if you were on before intermission, you'd be able to make that plane and get home and not have to stay overnight in Jacksonville before, everybody wants to get home to their families. And it was the last show on the tour. And I was on like first or second. So I knew I was going home, and I was just sitting back going, man. And Marcus went to the agent and said, hey, he made up a story that he had a doctor's appointment or something, right? And so he said, yeah, I got a doctor's appointment. I need to get on. I need to get out of here early today. So they moved Marcus up and put me back. So I was so angry with him. I wanted to kill him. I was like, and he goes, I didn't know they would take you out, man. But we laugh about it today. But at that time, it was the only time me and Marcus ever almost came to blows. I was so upset at him. And the way he tells it is much funnier too.
And you guys can check that out in the next week or so. That video will be out on the Marcus Buff Bagwell YouTube channel.
That's right. So we shared it on his YouTube. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you did so for those that are wondering, that I do Marcus Buff Bagwell's YouTube channel content as well. So we sat down and filmed you. I think you went for like 55 minutes.
Yes,
or so.
Yeah.
I had to change the battery on the camera.
Non-stop, man. When you have a camaraderie with someone or like a history with someone, it flows, man. It's so much fun. That's how I met Chase. Yep. And we got talking. I said, I'd love to do this too. So I'll be working together. And like I said, come back to our YouTube channel and we'll be putting more and more content.
Right. It's going to build very quickly. So we're excited. A lot of good stuff coming. Story you started on the radio years ago, but didn't finish. Promoter wanted you to be squashed in front of your hometown crowd. You mentioned wanting to be disqualified instead. What happened? Do you remember that one?
It was probably with Syracuse, New York. I remember coming to my hometown, and they were going to have me squashed. And I said, wouldn't they be ridiculous? I mean, this is where I'm from. And looking back on it, it's like, I should never even said anything, but I guess at the time I was thinking, oh my gosh, I went to school here. All my friends and family are here, and at least let me put on a good show, and they were just going to have me squashed that night. And so I believe we came with a finish where I was disqualified or something. I don't remember exactly, but it was something similar to that.
And Harley is ready to buy her book. So when's that coming out?
It comes out March 3rd. You'll see it all over. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be at Amazon, and we'll have websites to go to. And it really came out good. I'm really happy with this book. It's called Bad, B-A-D-D, Too Good. It's my real life story, which is a lot of people don't know some things about me that I did and went through. And but I'm blatantly honest in this book, and it's gonna raise some eyebrows.
Absolutely. Did you ever fancy MMA? Oh
man, I love watching it. Obviously, being friends with Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn, guys that came into WWE while I was there, and just the history of it and watching it, it's just so competitive. You just never know. You know, it's like a guy could look like he's going to destroy someone. All of a sudden, he gets some hold on him or something, and it's over. You know,
right. Yeah, it's crazy when you look at like the odds of stuff. This guy's got a 3-to-1 odds of win. It's like anything can happen out there.
And you don't see many guys like going 25-0. It's like a champion could be like 12-6.
Right. Yeah, it's not like boxing. of all your great attires and amazing robes, what are some of your favorites?
Oh man, Sandra Gray, who was the top seamstress for anyone anywhere in wrestling with WWE. She started with me making my John B. Bad ring attire.
Wow.
And we'd come up with some crazy stuff, capes that shot fire out of it, and confetti and everything. And it was like a party going to the ring. And she made that happen with some really cool outfits. And we put banners on the back. It's a good day to be a bad man, or something like oh my gosh, bad is good, or Johnny loves Philly, or something like that. With whatever city we were in,
Right. That's got to get expensive though if you're gonna do that.
It was, and and that's why the first year I was in wrestling, I really invested in myself. And I often tell people that, if you're going to invest in anything, invest in yourself, because the next year they seen how popular I became.
Right.
And I spent all my money. Dallas tells the story, great DDP, because he was with me, and he goes, "Man, you spent all your money on this." He goes, "Is it worth it?" I said, "I don't know if it's worth it, but I think I'm worth it." Yeah. And it turned out I was, because the next year they would give me $100,000 just for costumes.
Wow.
So I went all out, man. You used to look at my second year, Johnny Bad. That stuff was crazy.
And this one up here, I can't click it for whatever reason, but besides Dallas and Buff, who in wrestling do you still keep in touch with?
Oh, let's see. Alex Wright, even though he lives in Germany, we were so close because we used to travel a lot together. And we recently did an autograph signing together here in the United States. He flew in, and I called the promoter. I go, "You got to get me on this one, because my buddy Alex is going to be there." And sure enough, he did. And I got to see him then and spend time with him. Just a great guy. But what's so cool about when you go to these conventions? You may see guys that you barely even talked to back in the day, or maybe didn't like them.
Right.
Man, the camaraderie is so strong. It's like whoever it is, there's like when you live with no bitterness, resentment, or you don't have any unforgiveness. Like you just don't care. You just when you see people, it's just such a great feeling to go up and give a guy a big hug or something that maybe you weren't even real close to, but there's a real camaraderie because we all did something that not many people get to do.
No. And unfortunately, there's been so many people lost, along the way too.
Man.
So it makes you, I have to think it makes you cherish those that you still have, with you as well. Was Bobby the Brain Heenan a nice guy?
He was hilarious. He was nice to me. I know that. But he was so funny. He was the quickest witted guy I've ever met.
Really?
Like he just would just come up with things that were just hilarious. He never had to plan stuff. He just off the cuff, just a funny guy.
Is the WWF Attitude Era your favorite?
You know what? It was when you think back of the Attitude Era, not knowing it back then, but when you look back on it now, you look at who's in the locker room with you. Mm-hmm. There's The Undertaker. There's Shawn Michaels. There's The Rock. There's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You look at these greats that were there in the same room with me all the time, and never realizing this is going to be one of the most memorable eras of professional wrestling. Is this the era I'm in right now?
Right.
So it was a lot of fun. I'm blessed that I got to see and do all the things I got to be in some of the most historical things in wrestling. I was there when Cactus Jack got his ear cut off. I was there when the Montreal Screwjob. I was wrestled on the show. I mean, I think about all these memorable places and things I've seen in my life that I never would have done if I didn't go to the WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite belt that you held, and which one is it?
You know what? I think let's see. It's over on behind you over there. The World Television Championship. Okay. The reason why that belt it was my first belt, and I dedicated it to my mother at the time, and we used to call her Mama Be Bad. So that was real memorable. I won it off of Steve Regal, and it was a real exciting team. Beating, the first time you ever won a championship belt was real memorable.
We got a hello from Neil, one from Vanna.
Hello, Neil, Vanna.
And what was Bobby like? Well, I think we just touched on that one. Do you hope to one day be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I think anyone that ever wrestled in the WWE ring hopes that honor is bestowed upon them at some point. But, like I said, it's not going to ever define my life. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, everything's good.
And let's see.
Did that with John Delta?
That was the one I was trying to click on, and it jumped. How do you think the Johnny B? Is that the one you wanted?
The one above that.
The one above it.
Yeah, that's my nephew.
That's the one we just did.
Oh, you did that one?
Yep.
Okay.
Hall of Fame.
That's the Iceman. Call him the Iceman.
The Iceman.
Yes.
All right. How do you think the Johnny B. Bad character would have fared in WWF? And now this is the character that Vince.
That's the one he wanted. Right? Yeah. And see, he thought he was be able to get that character or something very similar to that, but the lawsuits were going back and forth. So that's where they came with the character called Wildman, Marc Mero. And so I never got to use anything that was close to the Johnny B. Bad character.
Yeah. If you could have, though, do you think it would have fared well? Or do you think it would have been a little just too different for what was going to be the Attitude Era?
Yes, I think, because, the Johnny B. Bad character evolved a lot too,
right,
from being really effeminate to, with all the makeup and everything, into more like a Muhammad Ali character. I'm a bad man, Yeah. I think it would have done okay.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, you could have tweaked it slightly. Yeah, as it was naturally doing,
right.
As it was. I have to go for now. Bye, Mark and friend, everyone. Have a good night. God bless you all. From John Roberts.
Take care, John. Thank you.
Got to ask, what's your opinion on death matches?
Death matches. Well, who has death matches?
Death matches. It's what they're calling like hardcore matches.
Okay.
The real bloody, gritty, extreme stuff.
I guess for longevity, I'm glad I wasn't involved in them.
Right.
But kudos to the guys that can do that. Like Mick Foley. Oh my gosh, Mick is amazing. He's one of the smartest guys too. Just an amazing person. Love that guy. But what he put his body through, and he did it for the fans. I mean, he did it because that's what people wanted to see, and that's what they got used to seeing. And he gave them more and more and more. And obviously, he's going to have, his body is in tough shape.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Thank you for all your inspirational words on Twitter X. You get me through the day.
Oh, that's great to know. Yes. Every day I try to write a little something or come up with something that hopefully will inspire someone else.
Yeah. Uplifting always. Was Gorilla Monsoon a tough guy? He seems to have gotten a lot of respect.
In his day, absolutely. He was a big guy too, and he was, luckily when I got to WWE, he was there as one of the agents, but it was such a nice person, just a gentle giant.
Who was the best technical wrestler you wrestled?
I would say guys like Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, man, that guy can go. Dean Malenko. I never got to wrestle his brother Joe Malenko, but they were like twins. You know what I mean? They were amazing. Right. Technical. Steve Regal. Yeah, man, that guy. I learned a lot from Steve Regal. I'd say Eddie, Steve.
Yeah, and Dean was one of my favorites.
God, the man of 1,000 holds.
Did you ever meet or work with the original Sheik or Brazil?
I'm old, but not that old. Okay. No, but I loved them as kids. I really did. And I got to meet the original Sheik in Detroit. And there's a great story that we're going to share together on one of the videos.
Just talking about that. Who was your most challenging opponent?
Challenging.
So is challenging somebody that's tough to work with?
That's a good question.
That could be.
Yeah, it could be taken in a couple different ways. Right. Like it's a dance, so you obviously want to just make it really smooth and look real, but not hurt each other. So now, when you say challenging, that could mean the opposite of someone that was very difficult to work with. There was guys that were very, very stiff that just didn't mean to, or some of them did. to lay it in on you. And then there was guys that could look like they took your head off and didn't even hardly touch you. And those are the guys I enjoyed working with. And there were some good ones too.
What'd you think of Andre the Giant and Junkyard Dog?
I got to wrestle Junkyard Dog, before unfortunately he passed away in a car accident. But and Andre, I got to meet him when I first got into wrestling as Johnny B. Bad, and he loved the character. He was on those
when he
crutches.
came to, what was that, Clash of?
He'd come backstage at center stage.
Okay.
And
he made one on TV appearance.
Yeah.
WCW.
But he would come backstage and sit, with Dusty and watch on the monitor.
Oh, nice.
And I'd come back out of the ring and he would just have that big laughter because he loved the Johnny B. Bad character.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And who is a current superstar you think would be great to have a match with?
I said earlier, I think Seth Rollins would be a great guy to work with. Braun Breaker would be another one I would enjoy because I like his style. He's like physical but fast. There's some good guys now, man. They keep taking to another level, man. Kevin Owens. He's a great worker. Yeah.
Do you watch regularly?
Because I'm on the road so much, I don't really get to see it as much as I would like to. But
right.
And after a long day, people don't realize that after I speak at schools, when I go back to my hotel room, I'm answering messages from students that are writing to me right after the presentation.
Okay.
A lot of them write to me at night because they start thinking about things or they need someone to talk to.
Right. Oh, it makes sense. Do you remember going to Warren County School District?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yes.
And what is your thoughts on Regal versus Goldberg match that got Regal released from WCW?
Well, because I've wrestled Steve many times and he's very physical but he's very fair, and I think Steve respects people who I guess would say pay their dues, and I'm not speaking for Steve, but from what I've seen or read is that he felt maybe that Goldberg never really paid his dues and wasn't ready for a longer match. And Steve, if you notice that when a lot of people get in the ring, they wipe their feet before they get in, that comes from Steve Regal. It's a sign of respect. Yeah.
Sure.
So I think, and like I said, I'm only going from what I heard. It was that he may not have respected business as much as Steve did. And Steve showed him that, there's more to it than just a 2-minute squash match.
Right.
Really, and it kind of exposed what Goldberg didn't know about the business.
Well, you've got one of the most technical wrestlers out there.
Yeah.
Possibly ever. Yeah. He took him to school.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a good one. Which did you enjoy being more, a baby face or a heel?
You know what? It's fun to go back and forth, but if I had to pick one, it's nice. It's much nicer to be cheered than booed. But if you get booed a lot, you're doing your job too. So
now, which is harder? I feel like being a heel might be
easier.
Right?
It is because it's easy. It's easy to be hated, but it's hard to get the fans behind you. I remember Johnny B. Bad started off as a bad guy, but they actually the fans turned me babyface or good guy because they enjoyed the character. We'd come out and dance and confetti gun and throwing frisbees and it was a party.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say legend wrestlers make good wrestling commentators. Think you'd be good at it?
Ooh, I don't know, man. You know what?
It's a different world, right?
It is really. You like a guy like Michael Cole. You got to really respect that.
Oh yeah.
On how long he's been doing this,
right, and
how good he is. So that'd be a whole new challenge for me if I did go that route.
For sure. Now, did you see Jesse Ventura went back to Saturday Night Main Event for WWE recently, and it had been 30 something years.
Yes, long time.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Now you worked with Bobby and WCW.
Jesse, yeah. Me and Jesse did the bikini contest together.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Now that's somebody that I think is underrated in WCW. Nobody remembers him in WCW on commentary. I thought he was one of the best.
It was great. Yeah,
it was. Any experiences with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff? He seemed to have a great sense of humor.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, Paul and I wrestled many times together, and he was always fun to wrestle, especially when he went into the gimmick where he's always looking in the mirror at himself and stuff. And I'd come and drop kick him from behind, the mirror would break and he'd freak out, you know. So it was a lot of fun to work with him.
Do you still do those push-ups with Diamond Dallas Page?
He's the most competitive son of a gun. I tell you, man, it's like as soon as I get ahead of him, that son will go into hard training, and then next son he'll call me and go, "Hey brother, we're gonna train to get today." And next thing you know, he's like Superman again, you know. But yeah, I was supposed to train with him. I think it was last Friday. He goes, "We're gonna go through the gauntlet," which is like the ice bath. The 1 hour of
I've seen his ice bath videos.
Oh
he gets a new person to torture with that.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal. And the day I did his ice bath, right? It was first of all, it was like 30 degrees outside here in Atlanta, you know? So it was already freezing. And now I got to go inside and come out with and it's members outside.
Yeah.
So I got to come out and I got your shorts on, you know? So I'm sitting there freezing. He's telling me all about the ice bath. He goes, "So brother, when you get in now, you just think about a story. Like, tell me a story." I'm like already freezing, Dallas. Let me get this over with. So you do that. Then you do like an hour with the power cuffs, you know, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then you do the like 40 minutes of DDPY yoga with him. And then we went on the bike with the oxygen tanks, you know. Mm-hmm. They cut off your oxygen, and it's like you're close to passing out as possible. So you can't walk for a few days after that, but I made it through.
Wow, he's a machine.
He is. Love him to death.
Who gave the hardest chops?
The hardest chops. Man, there's a couple. I mean, I also Ric Flair, who was known for it, you know, so you knew you're going to be stung there. I think Brian Pillman, because he would come down,
okay,
not like across you. He would come straight down where he hit you like this, mm-hmm. instead of come off like that, you know. So those really sting. I always had his handprint on my chest, so I knew it was.
And Flair would kind of glide,
right? Exactly, and it still stung. I mean, he laid in there, you know, but you got used to it.
But it's not a thud.
Yes,
it's got some follow through to it.
My heart wasn't stopping.
There you go. Thank you for letting me ask some of my burning questions. Have a great rest of your stream. God bless to everyone in the stream. Prayers and good wishes, Mark.
Thank you so much, man. Take care.
Any chance you get back in the ring one more time? I'm asking because I recently saw a video of Bagwell in Memphis wrestling.
I never say never, but it would have to be the right opportunity. And I'm just so busy with what I'm doing with my school that I wouldn't want to afford to be injured, because I wouldn't want to take it away from what I do. And I mean, when I say injured, it's so easy to blow out a knee, a back, or something. And I enjoy what I do so much that I don't want to jeopardize that.
Right. It would impact travel. I mean, that would be tough. God bless you and your family.
Thank you, Harley.
And we'll do one more here. Do you want to do that one there?
Yeah.
You want to wait for another?
That one's good.
What do you think of Vince McMahon?
You know what? As a businessman, like I said, I think I said this, but I was the first one to get a guaranteed contract, the first wrestler ever to get a guaranteed contract. And I negotiated with Vince McMahon, and he is a tough negotiator, but he gave me everything I wanted in my first contract. And I really respect him. He flew me into in his home in Stamford and had dinner with him and his family, and we came to an agreement. But nothing but respect for him. But obviously, his own issues in life, he's going to have to deal with them. But as far as me personally with him one-on-one, I never had a problem with it.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much. We
Yeah.
weren't sure what we were going to do today. We didn't know if it was going to be
Yeah.
5 minutes or if it was going to be an hour. And we're approaching an hour. This was great.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Great
And
turnout.
we'll do these every once in a while now. And
Absolutely.
obviously with Chase on board with me, we're going to be doing, you're going to see a lot more content coming out. And don't forget my book on March 3rd. You'll see it advertised everywhere. It's called Bad to Good. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. And please, I'm going to start answering questions here on YouTube. So I'll be checking that out starting tomorrow. Okay. So thank you guys. God bless everybody.
Thank you guys so much.